Hey, y'all, welcome to today's message, and it's don't take your assignment lightly. Just in case you're wondering, that's my that's my puppy in the background, or she's actually not a puppy anymore, but she's probably gonna be moving in the background. So if you're wondering, like, what's that? So I want to get into this message though, and I only have a few minutes, so this will be short. But I wanted to come on today and encourage you all. I love these seasons where I feel like God is just pouring out so much. And oftentimes it comes when we allow ourselves to be in that place of consecration, that place of quiet, that place of just waiting and trusting for God's will. I feel her behind me. So in that place, I promise you, if you've been feeling stagnant or feeling like God's not speaking to me, consider having just a season of prayer, a season of fasting, a season of pulling away. Go through a season of consecration as you feel led, because I promise you, God is speaking to us as long as we quiet our surroundings and quiet the distractions to hear. So I want to encourage you all with this message today. If you have been hesitating to step out, if you've been hesitating to really step into the assignment, the area that God has called you to, and usually I would give you all a break so you can go find the word, but because I don't have a lot of time for this video today, I'm just going to tell you it, but you can go back and check it out. I'm reading out of Ezekiel today, Ezekiel chapter 3. And this was so encouraging because I know that feeling. And even if you go to Jeremiah 1, when God was calling Jeremiah to be a prophet, and he's like, me, God, I'm just a youth. I don't even know what to say. And God spoke to him, don't worry about their faces. I'm going to send you where you need to be. I'm going to put my words in your mouth. And so for some of you, where God has called you, even in the area of ministry, in many different areas, I believe that as believers, he's called us all to minister and go out into all the earth and spread the good news. So I do, sometimes it can be frustrating or it can be tough, because just because everyone says they're a Christian and they're a believer, it doesn't mean they are. So when you are putting yourself out, you might get negativity. I get emails and things and people saying things, and it can be disheartening, and it can have you questioning your call. It can have you questioning where God is leading you. But I'm going to tell you today why it's so important that you take heed to the assignment that God has for you, the assignment on your life. Now, this is chapter 3 in Ezekiel, verse 16 is where I'm going to start. And this is at the end of the 7 days, because he went to the captives of Tel Aviv 7 days prior, and he brought to them what he needed to bring to them at that time. So I'm coming up because he's talking about at the end of 7 days in verse 16. The word of the Lord came to me saying, Son of man, I've made you a watchman to the house of Israel. Whenever you hear the word from my mouth, then warn them from me. This is God speaking to him. When I say to the wicked, you shall surely die, and you don't warn them, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, that he may live, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity. But his blood I will require at your hand. Yet if you warn the wicked, and he does not turn from his wickedness or from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but you have delivered your soul. Again, when a righteous man turns from his righteousness and commits iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die. Because you have not given him warning, he shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he has done shall not be remembered. But his blood I will require at your hand. Nevertheless, if you warn the righteous man that the righteous should not sin, and he does not sin, he shall surely live, because he took warning, and you have delivered your soul. And I hope this is making sense, because sometimes I want to just come on and like share the message with you all, because I hope like everyone that you're able to follow along. But again, if it's not making sense, read Ezekiel for yourself. Ezekiel 3:16. Basically, what God is saying to him is, look, I'm giving you insight. The role that Ezekiel had, I'm giving you warnings for people. They're lost in their sin. They're stuck in iniquity. They're doing the most, as we would say. I'm going to make this like modern day translation. You see this right now. People are out there doing the most. They've turned away from God. They hate God. Even right now, for you to step out and share the gospel, and for you to share your faith and your belief and words of encouragement, many people would turn their ear to it. They would just turn from it. They don't want to hear it. And that's a season, like that's a place that he was in, where God is telling him, look, I'm warning these people because I don't want them to die in their iniquity. I'm giving you the words. I'm telling you what to say. I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you how to show up, because by your obedience, these people will now have the opportunity to live. We know the wages of sin is death. We know that there are people walking around every single day and they're dead on the inside. They're stuck in sin. And many of us can relate to this ourselves, where you've been a slave to something. I know there were so many things that I was so caught up in, and things that made life trash. It's like no joy. Like when you're addicted and stuck on things and people and obstacles. So he's saying, look, I'm giving you, this is to Ezekiel, the gift. And this is to you. Many of you, you have been given the gift of prophecy, or you've been given a gift to encourage or edify or uplift, or wherever God is calling you. And you may have found yourself in a place of hesitating to share it because you think it's going to be no big deal. Well, let me tell you, there are souls at stake for your obedience. Like Ezekiel, when God said, if you don't, not only will that person, they could very well die in their iniquity, the blood is going to be on your hands because you didn't go out and do what I told you to do. And I think about, even with these messages, there are times where I've pulled away or gotten quiet because it's easy to get in your head, or it's easy to start listening to negative comments or negative feedback and shrink. We can't afford to do that in this season. What God is speaking through you, whatever he is telling you to do, for some of you, it's actually doing similar to what I'm doing right now, creating content and putting messaging out there and just being obedient to where God is calling you. And I just want to tell you this. For some of you, it's writing a book. For some of you, it's getting out there and you're speaking. I know that I've been called a lot to people who have a gift or a desire to speak, to share, to write, to tell their stories and get those things out. But for some of you, it could be anything. And I don't know, like that's between you and God. But the hesitation often comes when we don't fully understand what's at stake for our silence. When we think it's no big deal if I don't, show up for the next 6 to 18 months. There is someone whose soul is in need of the word that you have, whose soul needs to hear what God has spoken to you or the revelation that you've been given. And so I know a lot of times we can feel that hesitation and think that no one's going to listen or it's not going to make a difference. I promise you, if God is speaking something to you and it's not going anywhere, because I know that feeling where maybe you're seeing it in a dream and then you're listening to something random and you get another confirmation, and now you're watching a video and there's another confirmation, and then you just happen to look at a license plate in front of you and it has, Ruth chapter 2 verse 3 as another confirmation. So I'm telling you right now, I just wanted to come on and share this with you because this message was standing out to me to encourage those of you who know you have been called to something. And if you have been hesitating because you don't think it's a big deal, read Ezekiel, because up front, before God sent him out, he let him know. He saw visions, which you'll see if you read it. He got the heads up, he got instructions, but then God made it clear, I'm not just telling you this stuff to tell you. If I'm giving you a word to go out and share with someone or someone's, it's not okay to just shrink. It's not okay to hide. It's not okay, as we know with the story of the talent, to hide the talent, to hide what God is telling you, because there is more at stake than we often realize. So that is my encouragement to you today. If this encouraged you, tell someone, tag someone. The best way that you can support what I'm doing here, I'm sure y'all have seen, I don't ask for like donations or anything like that. But the best thing that you can do is subscribe here to get more encouragement. And just share it. If this has encouraged you, or if someone comes to mind, sharing the videos is also a great way to support what we're doing here with New Beginnings. And if you are someone, how I just talked about, if you have a message, if you've thought about speaking and stepping out, I would encourage you to get connected with me across social media at Erica Empowers. Also on this channel, I'll be sharing, you'll see a mixture of content here. I will be sharing these words as I feel led. Also, I do interviews with the Erica Latrice Show that has been revamped, revived, and now back here on this channel, and whatever else I feel led to share that encourages you. But if you are someone with a message and a story and you want to get it out, you can apply to speak at my upcoming events, and you go to standonyourstory.com to apply, standonyourstory.com to apply, and we'll follow up with you and let you know the details of what's coming up. All right, that's it. That's all I got for y'all. Again, go out and make today so amazing that people can't help but be uplifted and encouraged when they see you. Go do something. I'm going to give y'all a specific challenge. Don't just go out and be amazing. I want you to go out and do something kind today. Go out, whether it's complimenting someone or covering someone's coffee order or whatever it is. Go out and do something that just expresses the love of God to someone else today. And that's it. All right, y'all take care. I got to go.